Hello everyone, my name is Jose Peña and my capstone project is the animation industry. Okay. A little bit overview of my project itself. My project is a blog that talks about the lack of representation in the animation industry, especially when it comes to people of color, women, and the LGBTQ plus community. I do talk about the news about what's going on in the industry, um, and most of the reason why I chose this project itself was because I felt the animation industry itself is something very taboo, and it's something that is not talked about enough, especially when it comes to, let's say, for example, like the representation of how women are sexualized, especially in like shows. Like a lot of times is a man that does the designs for this female character and they sexualize it so much. And I hope that my blog benefit like artists and people who love animation like I do, and they will kind of understand where I'm basically coming from. My researching for a topic is kind of very simple. So basically, I just add a few, rather than just adding just one, because I did like a few ones. So in 1982, Joseph Plateau invented the phenakistoscope. Like is basically considered a cardboard disc that created the illusion of moving when viewing a mirror, and I think that's something very historical. It should probably be even be known as like the first animation itself. Um, the animation industry has increased so much. So according to a statement by Julius Stoll in 2018, the global animation like market was like worth $259 billion and is considered to grow to 270 billion by 2020. And by now, there's haven't been no update on it itself. I have done my research, but I can't find like no update. But it's probably it, I don't know because maybe of the pandemic it has went down, but I hope that it maybe goes up. And I think there are like five stage and like in animation production, like there's planning, pre-production, production itself, post-production, and this distribution. Um, Another thing is like major animation studio often like partner with like outsource like known local like firms to like limit like the resources and like make things a little more cheaper for themselves. So that's another thing that they want to mention that they didn't put here. Um, when it comes to like the industry like of the animation world, box office success is like no longer the only goal of animation studios. Like there's different like products that they would like to add into that. For example, like video games, like music, books, and toys. um and the most important one that I definitely like left for last, especially for this, it's important to know that many black actors are created to be like one dimension, especially and like animation films. Um, the same is not true for of a white character because they're considered like the default race, especially in drawings. White characters have been heroes, villains, brave, weak, shy, dangerous, and like outlanding. And compared to like a black person that they only have one specific role and they just kind of stick to that role. My table of content is kind of very simple, especially like in the blog side of things. I do talk about the strengths, like as you can see, there's our global audience, easy to access. We get Insta feedback on my blog, so it's very grateful for me. It's low to no money, so that definitely saved my pockets. My weakness is consistent content, revealing issue, writing skill, and generate traffic. So opportunities like networking, influence other, make easy to access, and collaboration with others. That's something that I feel like it's an opportunity so I can work with other artists itself that might see interesting in my blog and help me grow. Threads is our other blogs with similar content. Usually I notice that basically a lot of animation blogs they all post the same thing and it seems like they kind of all copy and paste each other. So it's something that I don't understand, but I usually try to keep mine a little bit different. Social, I don't think social media always change, and creativity. You gotta stay creative. You gotta be more creative than them, or like the enemy, as I call it. Apply your purpose, goal, or objectives. My purpose is to basically, or the blog purpose is just kind of to inform people about the animation industry. The blog is to post about the lack of representation of people color in the animation industry, how to sexualize women in cartoons, how there's not enough culture like representing animation films, to inform news and like what's happening at the moment when it comes to the animation industry. One of my goal is to learn and educate myself more. So the more I research and the more I look out, I have found out so many things, and I'm glad it keeps growing. And my objective is to bring or create a audience that can basically help me grow more. Target audience, this is kind of like more the basic side of things. So age is 13 to 25 years old. Race, I just kind of list them, all of them, because I don't look for a target race itself. I just kind of want to make this for everybody. Just same goes for gender. It's not like a specific gender itself. It's for everybody. Um, I don't care what you are or what you consider yourself. So yeah, and then location is worldwide. So that should be no issue. There's internet worldwide, so that I'm trying to get to whoever I can. Um, so yeah, when it comes to the psychographics of things, a little bit different because like I said, my age is 13 to 25. It's kind of considered like Gen Z, and they usually like things to be like short, and they like to things to kind of catch your attention. So I especially when it's come to something that's visual, so if something is visual pleasing and like colorful, and like they like it because it's like, oh, this kind of catch my eye, and it's something that they find very interesting. Something that is very special to use is the internet, social media, more like I like a mobile invest group that like enjoy being online. um Something that they have to add to us, like they usually like attempt to skip things that seems too long, so I to keep my things like short and sweet. And the reason why I want to target them is so that like you kind of influence them. And another thing is like when you influence one, you kind of influence the other, because it's like it tends to spread like butter. So yeah, this kind of a little bit of my editorial calendar itself. Just kind of when I posted, I did change a few things, was in progress and stuff like that. Just kind of added like news of what's going on, or sometimes I did change. But yeah, this is kind of like my editorial calendar that I had. Then this is kind of like a link and screenshot of kind of how it looks, just a little bit. We will get right into it in a minute. I do want to like, so let me just go here. Well, this the last slide, and just kind of want to talk about the lesson learned before we go to the website itself. So I like, did I accomplish like my goal in this project? I believe that I did, and I'm very proud of it, and I'm hoping to push forward. Like when it comes to COVID-19, I don't believe that I face any challenge besides being stuck at home. And that kind of made me very lazy. And I hope for my next step is to kind of keep going. I'm about to graduate basically this semester, so it's this whole project it's a lesson learned for me to do better. So let's just go back to and let's do my website. So on my website, my portfolio is basically what we did first. We did the portfolio, and this is this is kind of like my little website and stuff like that. So I just kind of added the blog into my portfolio. I first started on Tumblr. If we want, we can just go to Tumblr real quick. And on Tumblr, I kind of like posted everything here, and just kind of, usually I guess it could be like an artist. This will be like my sketch, like where I would post like my sketch and stuff like that. And then here is where I actually like, it will be cleaned up and stuff, and I'll do the outlines. I do have all posts basically that it talks about all the posts that I have done so far. I do have a category about like history, like when I click on history, it's just right now it's just kind of like the appearance of blackface and animation industry. Here I do have like some of them. This is something I did learn that there was a cartoon called Tom and Jerry, and it's not like the famous cat and mouse one. So that's something that blew my mind. We do have Mickey Mouse, and I was very surprised. I was like, wow, and it's something very crazy. So now this one was very hard to find Angel Plus because, excuse me, it was very hard to find because you can't really find nowhere. Um, news is kind of like something that's going on. I talk about. I don't know if you in the movie Soul. They're very like that movie was just amazing. And they're coming with a prequel, and I do talk about it. It's about like the little Soul 22, and versus Earth. So this was like before the movie. I do talk about this one is very recent. It's about like a music video and it's a short animation film about a kid that has Down syndrome, and I think it's something very important to talk about because it's like Down syndrome is considered one of like the worst thing ever, and it just kind of here shows how beautiful it can be. Um, talk about the animation industry issues. You talk about this great artist. He was basically the first person to work in Disney itself. And then he does have his own movie that he talks about the issues women in the animation industry. I'm not trying to make this too long. I'm so sorry. Talk about fun facts. Basically known as the first animation and change in the animation industry. So basically, Cartoon Network. I talk about Cartoon Network, how great Cartoon Network is. And then like because of Black Lives Matter, a lot of movement have done, and a lot of people that does like voiceover of like characters of color, they have like stepped down. So there's that. But yeah, that's mostly it. I don't feel like if I continue, it's gonna be longer than 10 minutes, and I'm not trying to keep it no longer than that. Thank you so much. You guys have a wonderful day. How do I stop the recording?